The Pentagon's chief technology officer is lashing out at artificial intelligence firm Anthropic as the military nears a deadline to make a deal with the company on use of its chatbot. That deadline is approaching. It is 5 p.m. tonight to either let the military have full access of Anthropic's artificial intelligence chatbot or risk losing a lucrative Pentagon contract. But Anthropic is seeking guardrails to prevent the military from using the chatbot to conduct mass surveillance of Americans or carry out military operations on its own. The Pentagon's chief technology officer says those uses of AI are already barred by the law and that the military has made some very good concessions in order to make a deal. In a social media post yesterday, Undersecretary of Defense Emil Michael called Anthropic CEO a liar who's, quote, okay putting our nation's safety at risk, unquote. Meanwhile, in a statement, Anthropic CEO wrote in part, in a narrow set of cases, we believe AI can undermine rather than defend democratic values. The Department of War has stated they will only contract with AI companies who accede to any lawful use and remove safeguards. We cannot, in good conscience, accede to their request. That was his quote. Let's bring in Amrith Ramkumar. Thank you so much. He's a technology policy reporter for the Wall Street Journal. Thank you so much for joining us. So it seems like the AI company is the one wanting more guardrails in place than the military. Could the Pentagon invoke the Defense Production Act to seize the software either way? Is it a situation where it's like we could do this the easy way or we could do this the hard way?
That's exactly right. And the Pentagon has also threatened to label Anthropic a supply chain risk. And that's a pretty serious escalation that's normally used for companies from places like China and Russia, really foreign adversaries. So Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, is essentially saying you can either do what we want the easy way, as you said, or we're going to take these extraordinary measures so that we can use your models how we see fit. And it's really that language, all lawful uses. Those are sort of the magic words that the Defense Department wants to hear come out of Anthropic's mouth and really all of the AI companies. And Anthropic is fighting back, as they have on many things with the Trump administration.
So, all right, we've got this exclusive interview with the Undersecretary of Defense, Emil Michael, who spoke to our Jennifer Jacobs at the Pentagon just before these talks broke down. I want to play a bit of that sound and get your reaction.
We do have to be prepared for the future. We do have to be prepared for what China's doing. We're looking at what's happening in the Ukraine-Russia battlefield with drones and how they're using AI and how they're using jamming technologies and all these things. And we have to make sure we're adapting to that world. We have humans in the loop in every aspect when we're even thinking about modeling and simulation on these things. So at some level, you have to trust your military to do the right thing.
All right, so Amrith, what do you make of the Undersecretary's reasoning for wanting full access? And I do want to point out that the chatbot Claude was used in the Maduro operation.
I think his last statement there is really the key, right? This is, like a lot of Washington disputes, really about control. So the Department of War, in this case, doesn't want any AI company to be dictating how their technology is used. And Emil Michael has made it very clear over the last few days, it's not like the Defense Department wants to use Claude or other chatbots to go do mass surveillance or go use fully autonomous weapons like the red lines Anthropic has drawn. It's just that they can't have each and every company pointing things out and saying, we need this exception or that exception. So in a lot of ways, each side is talking past the other in this dispute. Anthropic is saying, well, give us these guardrails. The Department of War is saying, you don't have to worry about that. Of course, we're going to follow the law and do the right thing, but you need to trust us, essentially, if you're going to work with us.
Yeah, they're both saying that they respect those norms, right? But I guess the question becomes, if the guardrails are in place and they're broken, right?
I mean, look,
what is the value of having a separate contract?
I just know that Albert Einstein knew that once he figured out E equals MC squared, or, and I'm not a nuclear physicist, but that the government having access to the understanding of how to split the atom was a bad thing. And so, yes, on one hand, you can balance the need for the United States to recognize that the technology behind artificial intelligence is incredibly powerful. We've yet really begun to tap into how powerful it is, and in the hands of a private company, that's an issue that needs to be addressed. On the other, giving government access to a powerful technology without understanding and without the transparency that is required for the American people to decide whether it's a good thing or not is also something to be concerned about.
I guess my question is, if the government does use this AI technology for these things that are already illegal, what value is there in having a special agreement with Anthropic? Does it give them more legal power to sue the government? I mean, you could sue the government. You can still challenge the government by saying it's a violation of law. So I'm just not for you necessarily to answer, Amrith, but these are the questions that I think a lot of people are wondering.
Well, those are the questions that people have. Yeah. So that's what's being discussed right now. Amrith, thank you very much. Really fascinating.
Thanks so much for having me.